Hey everybody, welcome to Take the Black Live, the show where myself, Dan Selcke of ReadersComing.net, and Mia Johnson of Fansided.com, hello,
Hi.
talk through all the latest and greatest news from the worlds of Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, fantasy, sci-fi, Star Wars, Marvel, all the things that matter most in today's day and age. Mia, how are you?
Oh, I am so exhausted.
God, you are. You have been running around pretty ragged. So
I have.
we can just dive right in because our first
Yeah.
topic is what you did. Over the weekend, you went to Ace Comic Con
Yeah.
where you saw... yeah, I did.
No, I'm so excited. I was very excited. This laundry list of people, Kit Harington, Gwendolyn Christie, Tom Holland, Jake Gyllenhaal,
Cool.
Chris Hemsworth, Norman Reedus, and
Reedus, right.
two people from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, like the lead cast. Kiernan, and I forget the guy. But needless to say, it was a really great, long weekend. I spent Saturday and Sunday there, and like I said, I'm exhausted.
Tiring. Okay. We'll try to extract things
Brie Larson and
your
Tessa
brain.
Thompson too. I
They
was
were.
like,
They were both there. It was a packed lineup.
Yes.
I mean, that's quite strong. Chicago's been just hopping lately.
Yeah.
With StrangerCon the other weekend and now Ace Comic Con, which like with big people coming.
Yeah, which is really great.
And hello to everybody who's watching us. Who do we have and who do we have
Hi,
in the chat?
Julie, Ismail, Ennis. You too, Quinn. Oh yeah. Some people I think were out there. It was a really fun time. And they had photo ops, so some people got to take pictures with their favorite celeb. That was not me, unfortunately.
No. I mean, how much do those cost?
We are looking like in like the 100-ish range, like minimum. They had some VIP packages if you want to up that. And it was like the VIP allowed you to, obviously take a picture and allowed you to sit like in the front section of a panel. We're getting like an echo.
I tried to mute it, but it wouldn't work.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
But no, yeah. And so you could when the panel came for your VIP celebrity, you could sit in the front and see them and be like, oh my gosh.
I'm always fascinated by the economies of those cons.
Yeah.
We're like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, look, I have a lot of affection for Gwendolyn Christie, Kit Harington. $100 for a photo.
Yeah.
I
$200
personally found it hard to pay
for
that.
the photos. Yeah. And
I mean, if you're that person, you must clean up all the way to the bank forever. I can't imagine paying that much for a photo.
Yeah,
but if you can, great. If you did, great,
'cause,
wonderful, we love it.
Yeah, it's like it really speaks to the fans, and it kind of is like really one of the only times that they'll get. It's like, how often does Gwendolyn Christie come to Chicago? Like, basically never. And so I was talking earlier that like some people went to go see the celebrities 3 times, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just to get the chance to be close to them. And I think that's really sweet.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah. I am a little uncomfortable, but that's another discussion for another time, like the kind of interplay between celebrity and commerce and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
What was Kit and Phineas says that my photos already framed and displayed. Who with Phineas? Who'd you get it with? Was it Harington or Christie or somebody else? I'd love to know.
Kit.
And Linda met Norman, Kit, and Gwendolyn. That is very impressive.
Yeah.
I met Joe Dempsey and Hannah Murray at Con of Thrones. That was pretty good. Okay, so what was Kit Harington's panel like? You were there. And it's not just for you, for anybody out there who's watching. If you were there,
Yeah. Share
how'd you
your
enjoy
thoughts. Now, this was like the first panel of the day. And of course, Great Chicago Traffic, I was running behind. And so I was like, please let me get in. I saw enough. I saw like at least over half of it. Kit was so like, I don't know what I imagined him to be like, but he was just so like lighthearted and funny. Obviously,
Flannel.
nothing like Jon Snow.
No.
Clearly.
I mean, nobody is.
Yeah. Oh, God. And so, yeah, he was very open about like working with Game of Thrones. Well, I might have missed the conversation that they had, like asking how did you feel about the character ending. I didn't hear any of that, but he was like, I just really loved being on set. He loved working with like Sophie Turner, which was really cute.
He said that they are all like siblings on set.
They're all siblings. He said they literally fight one another. I would like to inquire more about that. Or him and Sophie, like going fist to fist like that. Him and Richard Madden.
Probably, yeah. I'm guessing it's more like brotherly, sisterly sniping. But
just in case he can.
It's just full-on boxing matches with Sansa and Jon Snow on set.
All right, Stark Fight Night. Let's go. But yeah, it was really cool to
I like
see
this quote from him. He said, one of the struggles about playing John was that I was always playing someone who was a better person than me. He's good to his core. He's loyal. He's brave. He's honest. He's truthful to his very core. Playing alongside a character like that for 10 years of your life is somewhat intimidating. I can only hope that some of him does live on in me, that I've learned something from him. It's only now that I'm realizing that I loved him dearly as a person, and I really enjoyed playing him.
Yeah, see, that's probably one of the quotes that I missed.
That's pretty good.
That is really sweet to know
Interesting.
that.
You're playing a person who's a better person than you.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's better or worse than playing someone who's way worse than you. Like Jack Gleason with Joffrey or something.
I don't know. I think it's always... I think any sort of learning experience is good. So, I mean, if he learned from being Jon Snow, learned to be, like, very selfless and learning to... I mean, Jon Snow is a family man, so maybe he learned in him and his... Well, no, speaking of being a family man, he's so nice to his wife. He was talking about how he's kind of like a practical joker.
Yeah,
so he was saying that one time he had brought home one of his nicely made severed heads.
From the Game of Thrones.
Put it in the refrigerator and just waited for his wife to come home and see such that beautiful reveal. So, if you're always wondering what it's like to be married to Kit Harington, that's what it's like.
Hey, I mean, if you have a job where there are just severed heads lying around, I mean, why not take advantage of April Fool's Day?
I guess.
And then she's like a very like British person, so
Yeah.
the kind of person who wouldn't do that, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
He also said he wouldn't mind playing Severus Snape in a Harry Potter Marauders prequel.
Yeah, so this was an interesting question because I
Can
guess...
you see it?
Oh, what?
Can you see it? Can you see?
Oh, can I see him being Snape? In a way, I think in the books, and I saw a conversation about how Snape is actually supposed to be pretty young, like definitely younger than
I didn't know
when
that.
Alan Rickman was portraying him. And he was supposed to be like fresh out of Hogwarts. So that ran aside. In a way, I think it's just the black hair, like the greasy black hair.
I mean, I think he could do it if he
Yeah.
got like a Nicole Kidman in the Hours style false nose, and just like just uglied it up a little bit in the face.
Yeah, and you know what? So they were asking.
He's morose.
They were like, would he rather have been? Would he rather have been James Potter or Sirius Black? That was the main question.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be Snape.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be Snape. Snape is so cool. But then he went and played himself, and he's like, but I'm not cool enough, so I'll just play Sirius.
Well, he said like, I don't think I'm right for him, so I'll play Sirius. I kind of think that's right. I mean, he's good, but he's not quite right. I think he would be a good Sirius because he's kind of, a little more dour and moody, but not like greasy in that Snapey way.
Yeah, it would be really hard.
But again, false nose.
I would love to see it, but
Read a quote
yeah.
bit. Comments are never working functionally.
Oh,
well.
come on, comments.
Read a quote that Kit Harington said he wanted to distance himself from Jon Snow, but he's now playing a right? Yeah, says Louise. A quote from Kit Harington wants to distance himself from Jon Snow, but he's now playing a knight in black with a sword in his next role. Not much distance. He is going to play Dane Whitman, aka the superhero Black Knight, in the Eternals, most Cinematic Universe. Which, I mean, that is very true, Louise. That I mean, it's like great for your career because it's Marvel money, honey. Like that's very nice. He'll be set for a while with that. Went for the MCU, huge exposure. At the same time, like, yeah, it must feel a little weird. Like, we want you to play the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Like, just call him like the Night's Watchman or something. Make it really obvious.
Right.
Like he did say he was like, I'm playing the Black Knight, but I'm gonna write it down. It's a whole new chapter of my life, whole new character to start thinking about. One that, without saying too much, on the surface can look a little bit like Jon Snow.
Yeah.
But actually, I think there's a lot to be done that's different.
Yeah.
And like, okay, but not as different as if you weren't playing a medieval-style knight. Like, that would be even more different.
I know. Yeah, I feel like at some point the circumstances that he'll be put in will make it very obvious that this is not a Night's Watch type of night. But it is, the similarity is very much there. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's cool because, when you get to the end of a big TV or movie role, this is a challenge for a lot of actors where, what do you do next? Like, Emilia Clarke, who plays Daenerys, is doing something that is completely unlike Daenerys. She's doing, like, in a, Christmas-themed rom-com.
Yeah, which is...
set to the songs of Wham!
Yeah.
which
yeah.
is pretty different than Daenerys.
It's gonna be a big genre change. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is pretty cool. She's going her own way. Like, Kit Harington. I'm not saying it won't be different,
Right.
but it's called the Black Knight. He uses a sword. I'm sorry. There's some similarities.
There are some glaring similarities there, but is it?
But get your money, Kit
That's
Harington.
why I'm wondering,
fine.
will it be good for him because it's kind of like easy and something familiar? Well, okay, here's the thing though. He was kind of asked at the end, he was like, what is something that you're looking forward to or something that you're a little bit like nervous to jump into? And he was like, I'm both like excited and nervous to jump
Totally.
into the Marvel universe. Because, obviously Game of Thrones world is huge. There's so much lore and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of basically the same with Marvel. So it's like familiar territory in some way, but completely different story, completely different characters. So, okay.
He's a coward. Okay, moving on. I'm kidding. Get your money, kid. Have a good time. And we also saw Gwendolyn Christie at the panel. How was that?
Oh, what a wonderful presence.
She really is a lot of fun.
She was just such a warm, kind soul. She was very animated. Like, you can see this picture.
That was like the least animated picture I found of her.
Yeah. Yeah, she talking about animated already. One of the really big questions that she was asked was, how happy are you with Brienne's ending? And I feel like she's taken the same approach as pretty much everyone else who I've seen talk about this. She was like basically saying, I'm happy with Brienne. I'm basically happy with her character. She's an independent woman. She's come up so far.
She said that I got a promotion and I lived.
Yeah. I was like, okay, fair enough, you lived. And the funniest part, I think I can say this, it's not like super not safe for work or anything. She was, especially talking about her and Jamie's relationship, she was like, hello, I was so happy that Brienne got to have a sexual experience. And it happened to be with Jamie Lannister.
And then she started to yell sexual experience, sexual experience with trying to grit up the crowd. It was fun.
So that's permanently drilled in my brain.
I watched the video.
Now. Yeah,
I watched it all.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you should see it. But yeah, she just really had some really great ideas, especially about what would she like to see next, which I'm super excited. She because she also plays Captain Phasma, so it's kind of like that science-y fantasy crossover. And she was like, I would love to see, or my next project, I would love to have it be a feminist sci-fi fantasy sort of adventure. And I was like, I am all here for this. Please, we need this.
Remember her saying about Captain Phasma? She said something during the panel about she thought it was very new and interesting that it was a character who was all covered, a woman, but whose armor didn't conform to her shape.
Yes.
It was she's just a character in armor. It's
exactly,
not which, and again, fantasy and sci-fi does have this habit of when you have a badass warrior woman, you kind of put them, but then why are they wearing that?
Exactly,
I mean, if they're going to be fighting, it doesn't make any sense. Or even if they do have armor, it's a bustier thing, or it's that seems very impractical.
It's very impractical.
So there was something kind of cool about that. It's just that's just armor. You could put that in a man, and it would look pretty much the same.
Yeah, and so she
with
didn't.
Brienne too.
Of course, she didn't say too much about. She really didn't say anything about Star Wars. The last.
Is she in it? The last one?
You know what? Did her character? And not to be too revealing, but I feel like it was one of those situations where you're like, I don't know what happened to her. We think we know what happened to her character, but to be honest, everybody comes back at the end of the day. So, yeah, she didn't really talk too much about, all the Star Wars stuff, which is okay, that's to be expected.
Two comments here I want to read. Louise is cracking my shit up. Says, Kit Harington is reunited in the Eternals with Richard Madden. Will they live in Winterfell with a dash, which is very different than Winterfell?
Oh, of course.
And, okay, I will say this. Karen asks, no song of Dan and Josh again today. No song of Dan and Josh. Should we just really quickly ask if you've started in on a Game of Thrones yet?
Do you really want to ask? I'm running off of 5 hours
No, yeah, that's totally unfair. She was everywhere this weekend.
Yeah.
So no, not today, but we are going to work back up to it, Karen.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we're going to get back to it eventually.
I read, so.
Yes, it'll happen, but no, not today. All right, so what other panels did you see there?
Oh my goodness. I was so happy to see Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal from Spider-Man Far From Home. They are such a duo.
They're a dynamic duo, aren't
They love each other so much. And I think they kind of like prod at like fans kind of like knowing this, because you saw a lot of that bond happening during the promos and all that stuff. So like somebody asked, was like, if you two could star in another movie, what type of movie would it be? Tom Holland's like, rom-com.
Yeah.
So,
Harold and Maude type thing.
yeah. And or Jake was like, we should do a lip sync battle movie, because obviously Tom Holland's got the moves.
Can he dance? He can dance.
Tom Holland is a trained dancer. He's really good. He's a little Billy Elliot.
I guess that makes
Yeah.
sense. Oh,
Yeah.
right. He was Billy Elliot. I forgot that.
So he, I think he is long overdue for some dancing. But it was really interesting to
Cats.
see him without his curls. He shaved his head.
Yes, he looks a little skinheady.
Yeah. And it's for a movie that he's filming where he is a drug addict. So I'm like, okay, that makes
Cute.
sense.
Okay.
I'm still upset that the curls are gone.
He could
And so
do
were the
a mean
fans.
Ewan McGregor role in a remake of Train Spotters, now that I'm looking at him. Or Train Spotting, I forget what it is.
Well, no, I just wanted to grow his hair out.
I'm sure we'll be back.
Yeah. And also, oh my gosh, the Chris Hemsworth was there. That was so incredible. I was like, for some reason, I was like, I can believe that Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal are a real person. I cannot believe that Chris Hemsworth is a real person.
Of Thor fame.
Thor, yes. He just seems like an impossible person. He's
Really?
tall, he's good looking, he's funny. He's like he's everything. And so I have to tell you a funny story. So
Okay, go nuts.
the Tom Holland panel was Saturday, and it was the last panel of the day, and things were moving slow. Fans were rabid. They wanted them some Tom Holland. And I posted a video on my Twitter where as soon as like they were like, okay, you can enter to get in to see Tom Holland, it was madness. It was like it was like Black Friday, like all these girls just running to flood to get to the front of the stage. And it was a sight to behold. I'm surprised I didn't die or lose a limb on my way to my seat. So they got smart the next day. They upped security, and they kind of blocked, like for Chris Hemsworth especially, because
Right.
I imagine it was going to be the same pandemonium, where they made sure that they let in like the VIPs first. Somehow I got in there first. You know, I just got up there, and then
You wanted it more.
I kind of did. And then they were like, okay, and now we're going to slowly bring in the rest of the people, so it's not the animal kingdom over here. So that was just something funny, and I think they will probably know better next time.
I mean, is Ace Comic Con known for being like a big draw? Because frankly, like I hadn't really been on my radar that much.
Yeah, they're still kind of new, not as established as like some of the other like Chicago conventions, or
Sure.
they go all over. So I think it's still, and they were in a new venue. They were in a whole new place. So I understand, if there were some mishaps or, little things that have
Sure.
gone wrong, because it was completely new
Snags.
territory for them. But yeah, Chris, I tweeted, I was like, Chris Hemsworth,
God, bloody hell.
you have to see, this is a person you have to see in person to believe that he's real and experience just like everything that is him.
Julie Davies says simply hot
Yeah.
with 2 flame emojis.
2 flame emojis. That is
It's a dual
right-
flame.
that is the right amount. And it's like,
Any other things you want to hit up from Ace, your experience at Ace
yeah.
Comic-Con?
It was so fun. I met so many
does
cool
sound like a blast.
people. I met someone who worked for Culturist, which I used to, edit for, so that was really nice. And also I saw Brie Larson and Tessa Thompson,
Oh, that's very cool.
who were also there.
We've got to start getting those kind of people on this show and interviewing them.
telling you.
That's our mission statement, by the way, to get some. At first, extra number 5 on Game of
Right,
Thrones,
right.
but we'll work our way up.
Exactly. So I don't know if, maybe one day I'll get Brie Larson's
Yes.
rep to come
go right to
on
there.
down. So, yeah, no, it was just a really fantastic time. And I'm like I said, I'm so exhausted. I'm going home right
Yes,
after
this you can go home and take a nice rest. Just seeing Mia clad in armor making her way to the front to Chris Hemsworth knocking women and children out of the way, throwing people over her shoulder. Says
Louise, how did you get that footage?
Louise, you're funny. Keep with the comments. All right. So that is Ace Comic-Con. Glad you had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Had some good stuff.
Yeah.
You see the bit where like Gwendolyn Christie and Kit Harington went to a Chicago restaurant and ate lemons off of a Long Claw replica?
Oh, I didn't know that. I did.
That was weird.
I was surprised to know one of the things Gwendolyn Christie was asked as well. She was like, they asked, "Who are you excited to see? Who's here at the the convention?"
Yeah, I saw this bit.
She's like, "Oh, I'm so excited to see Brie Larson. Not excited to see Kit Harington." And so I tweeted that, hoping that people knew it was a joke.
Oh no!
With the and I put a laughing emoji,
Right.
and some people were like, "She just had dinner with Kit." Another person, "She just had dinner with Kit in Chicago." I was like, "How do you guys know this?"
It's a feud.
Yeah. I was like, so I was like, "Oh, she's such a jokester, ha ha ha." But
That's pretty funny.
I was like, "How do you guys know where she's at?"
Okay, let's move on to our next little
Please.
topic. This week, I think in like a couple of weeks now, Disney is going to drop Disney Plus, its massive Netflix competitor, Netflix killer even,
Ooh.
onto the world, Disney Plus. And it released earlier this week, like Monday or something, or Tuesday, this giant, enormous Twitter thread of like 800 or something tweets
Yeah.
of every single thing they're bringing to it. And it's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I was already going to get it, but like, it seems like every new announcement is just, here's why you should just give up and just not resist and just get it, because it's really the only option.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they have like, it was like 800 some movies and TV shows, like from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937. Their back catalog goes back so long.
Yeah.
All the way up to that kind of new live action Lady and the Tramp looking thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this working for you, by the way? It is? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, she's the lady. I don't know. Disney is really pushing it when it comes to like the live action action
I
adaptations,
feel like it
especially
makes
with
some
animals.
sense with like Beauty and the Beast, and the people thing, but it's kind of weirding me out for like the Lion King,
really
Lady and the
is.
Tramp.
And I haven't seen the Lion King. I think I'm about to see it this weekend finally. To me, it kind of hits on like looking like National Geographic with voices. So I don't know, it's a little off-putting to me.
But enormous bulk of stuff. Like stuff I want to see. Like again, those Disney classics are wonderful. Like
Yeah,
I haven't seen Snow White in ages. Well, like the old Disney animation classics from Cinderella to the Renaissance, Little Mermaid. Oh, and here we also have ridiculous.
Oh, the Shaggy.
Some of the fun stuff was movies that everyone forgot about even existed.
Yeah, those
like,
were
what? These are
were
fake.
shoved deep into the Disney vault. I don't know who.
What the hell is the Shaggy DA? Is that a movie about a dog lawyer?
$1 Million Duck. $1 Million Duck might work though because people like the Goose Game that's out.
Justin Morgan had a horse. What was what was
Justin
Disney
Morgan
doing in
had
the
a
70s
horse.
and
Yeah,
80s?
Yeah, Disney. Sometimes they don't always.
And
hit
then
their
I remember back in the day when Don Knotts was the
Don
biggest
Knotts,
star in the
yeah.
world. Apparently, was like Taylor Swift, Jennifer Lawrence level of beloved, and starred in at least 4. Including Don Knotts in The Apple Dumpling Gang and Don Knotts in The Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again.
Wow, exciting films.
When did I miss Don Knotts' star ascendancy? Gus,
I think this
what
was
is he doing?
way past our time.
But okay, like, no one's... Actually, I might watch The Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, but I mean, like, mostly you're going to get Disney Plus for the classic Disney stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, we're talking everything. We're talking just all the old classics, and then all the new stuff they're making with The Mandalorian and
all the Marvel shows.
all the Marvel shows. What was I going to say? Lady and the Tramp, if you're into that.
Yeah.
They're making a Cassian Andor series, and they have all these. Oh, every episode of The Simpsons, every single one. That's a huge
that
draw.
really is,
My
yeah.
generation, you kidding? Lots and lots and lots of
And I
stuff.
have to
Every
be-
Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I was surprised. Well, it's like because technically
Every Marvel
they've got
movie?
Fox, so now they've got all that back. Oh, almost every Marvel movie. They're still like working out some of the things where
Really?
like I don't think the first Iron Man is up there. The first
What?
Avengers. It's probably weird negotiation stuff that they'll hammer out next time. But I have to be open and upfront that I got a special offer, special if you like to call it, where I've purchased in advance 3 years of Disney Plus.
Oh,
So I am set for 3 years.
I think it's very
They
smart.
came a knocking in my inbox, and I said, "Well, hello, here's my money."
I want it. I'll probably get the bundle.
I probably only save like 45. Well, I mean, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's saving money.
We can talk later about if we can get it hooked up
Yeah.
for me. That'd be nice. Karen Lembo says, I hope they have the cat from outer space. And
Ooh. I think they do. Because I saw it in the thread, and I was like, the cat from outer space, isn't that the cat from, what is it? Oh, Captain Marvel? I was like, is that the cat from outer space? So I
don't think so.
do.
Yes,
Well, no,
it-
I made the comparison. I was being silly. But yeah, I think they got a lot.
I mean, if they have the Don
random.
Knotts classics,
Yeah, they've
I don't
gotta
see why they
have
can't have the
these
cat from outer
deep
space.
cuts. Oh, no.
It's going to be a fun couple of weeks, I'm telling you what. Like, just the good stuff and the bad stuff, or just the less popular stuff alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's happening. It's happening to me. I'm getting it, so we're going to see how it goes. I'm sure it'll go really fine. And finally, I thought we would go through there are a bunch of cool casting announcements over the week. Thought we would hit some ones quick, see what we think about. Including some Blood Moon stuff. We'll bring up the Game of Thrones in the end to end the show with some Game of Thrones news. But first, what did you think of the announcement that we have a new Catwoman coming in The Batman?
You know what?
Zoe Kravitz.
I wasn't seeing that. Zoe Kravitz. That really caught me by surprise. But I don't. You know what? Now that I say this, I'm thinking back in her acting catalog, and I'm thinking of Fantastic Beasts, the last one,
which she was decent in that terrible movie.
and the X-Men movie that she was in. I will
Who was
say,
she in that?
she was I think she was like a fairy wings or some sort of mutant. But I have not been super wowed by her performances so far. At least not that I can remember. She definitely has like the look. She's very beautiful.
The
she
look is
can
there.
be
She kind of looks like Eartha
Catwoman.
Kitt in that picture a little bit.
Yeah. And so I don't doubt that she's got the look for it, but it's like on the talent side, I'm going to need to be convinced. And I feel so bad for saying that.
I mean, like, there was a bit of, like, Yas queening going on when it was announced. Because, like, you know, she's like, oh, she looks like Eartha Kitt. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, I don't really know her catalog that well.
Yeah.
So, but I'll trust you if you say it's
Yeah, I was not impressed. And then I think she was doing, like, a fake British accent in the Fantastic Beasts movie. And it was like, But, I mean, it's like she's got famous parents. Her dad is Aquaman, so now they're in the same cinematic universe. Or her stepdad is Jason Momoa.
Yes.
So,
her dad is Lenny Kravitz.
Her real dad is Lenny Kravitz. But, so, yeah, it's like I think they're still really, like, Lenny Kravitz and Jason Momoa were really close. But Jason Momoa congratulated her on social media, and they're like, you know, we're part of the same DC family, which I thought was really cute.
By the way, Julie's looking forward to season 2 of Britannia, starting 7th of November, which was an interesting show. It was interesting. It didn't really catch on in a big way, Britannia.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, historical, like, Last Kingdom, Viking-style historical dramas. It was cool. I enjoyed it. But yeah, it hasn't really caught on. Perhaps it will. I'm looking forward to it too, Julie. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
Also, another kind of, I didn't see this coming.
Oh.
Guess who's in they're making a new Matrix movie.
Right, if you haven't heard,
it's been 16 years. Time to bring back Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss. Even though, sorry, spoiler alert, never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, no, it's been 16 years. They died. How they're going to bring it back, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But Neil Patrick Harris will be in the next Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Who didn't expect the How I Met Your Mother guy to be battling
know.
robots or whatever?
I know. And somebody's like, is this going to be a musical? Like,
I hope so.
What are we here to
It's kind of unfair because, like, he has been in dramas. Like,
Right, he was in Gone Girl.
Yeah, he was in Starship Troopers long ago.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
I mean, like, he does other things, but
he's
just known for this.
He's really kind of pigeonholed himself into, like, the fun, sort of, you know, wacky, so... I don't know. I mean, I think there's space for, like, comedy in The Matrix, like a little bit of comic relief, but not a lot. So, I don't know. I like the challenge of seeing him in that role.
Are you, again, like, it's always generational divide.
Yes.
Does The Matrix mean anything to you? Because, again, like, when I was, like a kid, like, it was, like, the coolest thing.
Oh, wow.
Like, that guy is in a black trench coat, and time is slowing down, and bullets are going by him, and this is blowing my mind.
I think, in a way, I might have caught, like, the tail end of that. Yeah, the whole Neo thing was still pretty cool. But, like, the Matrix mania wasn't something so much that, like, me and my friends were all about.
Yeah, it didn't last very long. And as Louise says, Dewey Hauger does Agent Smith. Yeah, completely. It's going to be...
Mr. Anderson.
Mr.
With like a
Anderson.
straight face. I don't know if I can... oh, boy.
And then any other comes from the Matrix. I mean, I am curious about that. So, yeah, you would have probably missed, like, when it was the cool new thing on the block.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, it's not unfortunate. You just didn't miss it. It's fine. I mean, it went downhill. No one talked about it for 16 years. Now it's back because things are going. And finally, we have... So, the Game of Thrones prequel show, which I'm going to just call... They haven't announced a title, but everything is calling it Blood Moon.
Okay.
Like, these new castings are, like, in their, like, CV, they're, like, played a part in Blood Moon for HBO. It's like, okay, it's called Blood Moon.
Yeah.
The pilot's been shot. They're
Right.
looking at it right now or whatever. But we keep hearing about new people who are cast in it. And we got a quartet of new actors, found out from Watchers on the Wall. We got from top left to bottom left clockwise, Leia Gayer, Jasper Britton, Georgina Beadle, and Jacqueline Boatswain in the Game of Thrones pilot. What kind of impresses me is how many people there are in this show.
Yeah.
Like, they've made one episode. And there are a lot of people in this.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
It's like Naomi Watts is heading it up, and Miranda Richardson is in it too. But also, like, there's like a cast of like 8 other kind of younger people who are like supposed to be fairly sizable characters. And I don't know how big these characters are. I mean, they could be like stand-in parts or something. But we keep hearing about more and more people. I'm like, how big does this cast get?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to be kind of overwhelming to the viewer to try to keep up with so many characters.
I mean, of course, we say that, but this is if a show ever had a lot of characters, it's Game of Thrones to start with, and people managed.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like being... Yeah, I feel like I did have that problem at first, watching Game of Thrones, and it's like, whoa, this is a lot of information. So maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe.
Oh no, I don't think you are. I mean, I think a lot of folk had that problem.
Yeah.
That was a pretty. They were like parodies made about it. How do you remember all these names?
Yeah, it's like you're who and of what house and where do you come from and all the, especially when it's all like made up and you've got these really weird names. That does nothing to help.
I think like there's a big enough fan base who were into it that it kind of carried it through until you knew it well enough to just be swept away by it.
Right.
And this show in particular, it looks like they're really going for a Game of Thrones aesthetic, which I mean like lots of characters spread way apart, different parts of the world, doing different things. So it looks like they're going to go for the same thing. Whereas this other prequel they're considering, the Targaryen one, is more about a group of people who all know each other.
Right.
And they're all going to be like fighting for a few years.
Right.
And we don't know what's going to happen. We're all just kind of reporting on... When we hear something more substantial, we'll tell you.
Yeah,
But for right now, it's just trickle by trickle. They also cast somebody new in the Lord of the Rings series. So that's going on.
Yeah.
That's moving forward. Many things are happening.
Oh, wow. So much. Everything is happening so much.
That's a good point. Anyway, any other thoughts you have before we sign off?
Oh,
for the
no,
day?
I
Anything?
don't. I think
I know you want to get
my
home to
brain
bed.
is so close to shutting down, but I had such a fun time discussing all of this today, so it was worth coming into the office.
It's a good time. Yeah, I honestly, like you were, Comic-Cons are tiring.
It's very
like
tiring.
You're walking around all day and you're just like trying to hear over people and trying to talk to people.
And even, I'll say my last word is like, obviously I do it, well, I don't know, it's weird to say I do it for the fans, but like it's kind of hard to be like in the moment when it's like I'm live tweeting all the panels, so it's like my head is down here and I'm like hearing every other thing, so it's like I think I was at the Kit Harington panel, but my physical body was there, but I don't think I was all there. Otherwise, it was just I was tied to my phone, but we got so many great responses, and the fans are so great. They're retweeting and sharing and all this stuff. So it was definitely well worth it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll be back next Wednesday, for more Game of Thrones news, Song of Fire commentary, sci-fi, fantasy news, all that good stuff. You can find us in podcast form. Our podcasts are downloadable. iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. And you can see us right here on Facebook or YouTube, Winterman Facebook page, and next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a beautiful evening.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.